Hola, ¿qué pasa? This is and I am Been Around the World. Currently living in Ecuador. I'm staying in the small town of Mangualto, just outside of the hippie beach town of Montanita. And today we're going to talk about the entry requirements and COVID restrictions for entering the country. Now the good news is, if you live in America and most other countries, if you have a valid passport with at least 6 months left on it, you can enter the country pretty easily without having to apply for any visas. There's just a few small hoops you have to jump through before you can enter, and most of those relating to COVID. Now, the first thing you're going to need is you're going to need a negative COVID test. And it is required that you get a PCR test. They are no longer accepting the antigen test, so you will have to get the PCR test, which will require you getting a little swab up the nose. That PCR test, it does have to be no more than 3 days before you board your plane for Ecuador, and most PCR tests take maybe around 24 hours to get your results, so plan accordingly. Now, if you are fully vaccinated, you are exempt from having to get the PCR test, but if you are fully vaccinated, you obviously need proof of that, and your proof of vaccination has to show that you were vaccinated more than 14 days, 2 weeks before boarding the plane. If you have been previously diagnosed with COVID, you can get a medical certificate by a doctor showing that you have made a full recovery, but the onset of your symptoms have to be more than 30 days before boarding your flight to Ecuador. So again, you're going to need either a PCR test no more than 3 days before boarding your flight, or a proof of vaccination more than 2 weeks before boarding your flight, or a medical certificate from a doctor showing that the onset of your symptoms were more than a month, 30 days before boarding your plane to Ecuador. Now, if you have one of those three things, you are not required to quarantine once you enter the country, with two major exceptions. Now, if you are from or traveling through Brazil or India to get to Ecuador, upon arrival, they will ask you to quarantine. You will have to quarantine in either a home or a hotel at your own expense. And it is up to the Ecuador Ministry of Health to follow through on that quarantine and check up on you. So again, if you are from or traveling through Brazil or India to get to Ecuador, you might be asked to quarantine. Once you're in Ecuador, there is no curfew, there is no travel restrictions, with the exception of the Galapagos Islands. If you are going to visit the Galapagos Islands, you will also be required to purchase a transit control card. That's just a proof of identification and that you're going to the Galapagos, and that'll run you about $20, and you can purchase that at either the airports or through a Galapagos Island travel tour guide. COVID restrictions aside, there is only one other thing that you need in order to enter Ecuador. As I stated at the beginning of the video, if you are from America or most other countries besides India or Brazil, if you have a passport with at least 6 months valid left on it, you can enter the country without applying for any visas. However, that stay is limited up to 90 days. And to enter the country, you have to show proof that you are going to exit the country before that 90-day deadline. And that proof will come in the form of a airplane ticket. If you purchase an airplane ticket online through any airline, they will send you a confirmation email showing you the date and your confirmation number for your flight outside of the country, and that will act as proof that you are not going to overstay your welcome. Now, if you can prove that you are not going to spread COVID once inside the country and that you're not going to overstay your welcome, the rest is easy. Come in and check out Ecuador. It's a beautiful country, beautiful weather, beautiful beaches, beautiful people, and they'll be glad to have you. I'm having a blast down here. So, that's it for today. I hope you found this video informative. Please like and subscribe to my channel. I would greatly appreciate it. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments down below. And stay tuned for other videos. This is Ben Around the World signing off. Adios.